Hi, so today I'm going to teach you how to do a part of my hobby slash job, and that is painting a reborn doll. You will need a paper towel to sit underneath your paint wheel. You will need a paint wheel that has, you want the smaller. So as long as you have smaller wells in it, it's fine. You will need thin paint brushes. You will need a thicker paintbrush to mix things with that you don't care if the bristles get messed up. And then of course you will need a red color, blue, and white, and you will need some water, distilled water, and you will need something to put the distilled water in your wells. So first and plus you will need the most important thing, a doll. A finished doll typically looks like this. Whenever it's done painting, I'll put in the eyes and I'll root hair later, but we're going to be working on the veins here, and she doesn't have any capillaries on her, so I can't really show you. So today I'm going to be working on, she's called Juliet. She's a Juliet kit. She already has one layer of paint on her. You can't really tell, though, she's not painted nearly as much as that doll was over there. And we're going to be putting veins on the top of her head. So first you're going to need to take a little bit of your distilled water from your cup. And then you'll need to put it in your paint wheel. You don't want too much water, but you don't want too little water either, because too little water will make the paint thick, and you don't want thick paint. You want it to be very transparent. I'm going to take a little bit of my red here, and I'm going to put it about 2 drops into my water. And I'm going to take some white, and I'm going to put a little bit on the brush to make the color about a pink tone, because I don't want it to be too dark. The blue, you do not have to put any white in if it's a light enough blue. So I'll just put the blue on a brush, same amount as the white, and mix it in with my water. Okay. I have a cup of water here to rinse off any brushes. I already have some blue mixed from earlier. I don't know. That's about the color and the consistency you want. I can't tip it over completely because, you know, then it will go all over the place. So I want to take my thin brush. We're going to do the veins first. It's a really thin brush. And I'm just going to dip it in the paint. You can't even notice that it's on. And I'm going to kind of do a little tree on the top of her head. So I'm going to start here. And I'm going to do a straight line down. And then after the straight line, I'm going to go from that line, and I'm going to go over from another line. Now the veining will look really dark at first, and that's okay, because we're going to put at least 40 layers of paint over top of it, and so you want the veining to still show through. You don't want it to be too dark, but you don't want it to be too light either. You also can use the internet as a guide for where veins go on top of a baby's head. I've been doing this for a very long time, so I just naturally know. And you can't even really see it. There it is, it focused. There's some veins. And I'm going to do the same thing, starting at the base of her ear over here. I'm just going to do a line straight down, and then I'm going to make little tree branches off from it. So it's really not that bad. You can kind of decide how much veins you want, how many little branches off of it you want. It's all preference of the artist. I don't know. Yeah, you can slightly see it. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side, which I'm not going to show you the finished product of that because it will just look like the same from the side that we already did. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with the veins that I got. Like I said, it's preference. If you put it on too dark or too wide, just take a little pouncing brush like this and wipe it off and then reapply. It happens. Angel! I'm sorry. My dog started barking. She wants up on the couch and another dog won't let her. So I'm going to put her head away and we're going to start the veining on the leg. So veining on the leg, it happens at the 2 ankles. You can put it up here on the thigh for a baby and on the bottom of the foot. So that's where I'm going to do. Again, it's the same thing, same concept as the head. If you don't know where babies' veins are, you can always look it up. There's a lot of guides on the internet. It's all artist preference. Some artists don't put it on the legs, on the top of the legs. Some people don't put it on the bottom of the foot. I do. It brings a realistic quality to the doll. The bottom of the foot's very hard to tell because there's so many creases. And you gotta be careful not to get that paint and the creases. I don't even know if you guys can see it. You can see it in real life, but not a lot. And same thing with like the top of the leg. It's very light to the point where I don't even know if you can see it on camera. The ankles, that's a given. Everybody has veining on their ankle. And babies have more prominent veining. So they do have bigger doll kits. And the bigger the kit, the less veins you put on the doll. I'm not going to do both legs on camera. There is another leg. This is what a kit looks like. And for one of these little blank kits, it's about, I want to say $50. It just depends. Now, I am having a problem with my paint not tanking on the ankle. It's beading. So what I'll probably have to do is dab it off if I can't get the paint to take. Because we don't want the veins to be too light either. We need it to show through 30 thin layers of paint. And even though it doesn't seem like a lot, it is. As you can see, it's a little liney and messed up. So I'm going to take a brush and I'm going to take my little pouncing brush here and just take off that second line that I had. And now it looks better and complete. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Again, it's all preference. If you want to do crazy veins, if you want to do just thin veins like this, where it's just like 2 little branches, it's all depending on you as a person. And I'm going to go over the bottom of the foot one more time because I didn't like how light the vein turned out. And the more that I do it, the more it will show. You also can have a problem with it beading or looking like a pen. So you want to make sure that it doesn't bead or look like a pen. And now that I did veining on that leg, I'm going to go to the arm. The arm, you get it at the top of the hand and the bottom of the wrist. And that's it. It's the only 2 places that the veining is. And again, you want to go very lightly and very thin. You don't want something that's too dark or too thick. It is a baby. Their veins are not as big as ours. You can also use your veins as a guide on your hand because babies typically have the same vein line. I don't even know if you can see it, but it is there, and I'll go over it a couple more times. You have to follow your line very carefully when you go back over it. You do not want multiple lines there, because then it just looks like a mistake in your paint job. And our customers pay a lot of money for these dolls, so you do not want a mistake in the paint job. You want it to look as natural as possible. So now I'm just going to do the wrist. The wrist is hard because of all the creases. Oh, there we go. We got some darker blue here. This is a very exciting moment for an artist whenever it comes out like that, because then you can dab and manipulate, or you can leave it the same. And I'm going to leave mine the same. Okay, so now that we did veining, I do have another leg and another arm to do it on, but I'm not going to show you guys that on camera. It's really boring. So I'm going to clean off my veining brush. Whenever I put it in the water, I'm going to be very careful not to touch it to the bottom of the cup or the top of the cup. And just regular faucet water works to clean your brushes. And you want to be very careful. And if your paintbrush comes with a little cap, put the cap back on top. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to capillaries. And here's her head again. This one is going to be a girl. You can choose boy, girl. Like I said, a lot of people pay a lot of money for these dolls. And I'm going to use a separate brush for capillaries. It's a little thicker because I like my capillaries showing through. And I'm going to use another brush to mix. Just a random brush. I'm going to remix the paint because it's important to mix the paint after it's been sitting for a little bit. I'm going to remix it and I'm going to test it to see if it's the right color. And then I'm just going to put that brush in the water. Okay, so capillaries are kind of just this crazy little thing you can do anywhere you want to, on the head, on the feet, on the legs. I typically put it on the cheek. Depending on the customer's wishes, I'll put it on the cheek. So here it is. Now, as you can see, that's way too dark. So what I'll do is I'll take this brush and I'll just, I'll wipe it off. And I'll re-put it on. You don't want something too dark because something that takes too many layers is going to be, it's going to be a bad thing. We already put so much time and effort into this. We don't want to give ourselves extra work. That we want it to be nice. Okay, here. Now you can see it, but it's light, and it can go underneath paint. I also like to put one on the nose, typically. I don't know why. Like I said, this is all preference of an artist. You can put it anywhere you want. You can put it on the top of the head. I don't put it on the top of the head because if the baby gets hair, then it's pointless to put something that you can't see. And then I put it on her nose, and you can see the shininess of the paint. These capillaries, though, if they do become too dark, I can put it on... I can take it off and make it a scratch on the baby later on. So here's the knee and the leg, and I'm going to put it on... I don't put it on the knee because the knee will get blushing, so it will be pink on top of pink. I like to put it on the top of the leg, though, and I only usually do it on one leg. Whenever I first started doing this, I went crazy with the capillaries because I thought that they were really adorable, and then I grew out of it. And I'm going to do one on the top of the leg. It's a little light. I don't even know if you guys can see it. It's really hard to see them on camera, but they are there. And then I'm just going to do the same thing on the arm. Again, same thing. Put it wherever your little heart desires. I typically just put it in random spots. Except for on the head. The head I have like a little ritual, and my customers notice that. It's a signature of mine. Unless if they request otherwise, like the one that's already completed. Okay. And the arm is done. I just put little lines and stuff all over. And that's it. That's all it takes to paint veins and capillaries on a baby. Obviously, there's another leg and another arm that I need to do veins and capillaries on. Like I said, I'm not going to bore you guys with that because it is, after a while, a pretty monotonous project. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this little demonstration video. I'm sorry that it took a little longer of your time. And I hope that you guys can appreciate maybe a reborn artwork. Have a good day.